How much is a single spoken word worth? And what about a word left unsaid? We rarely think about the price of what we say or what we never dare to say. Every morning, we open our mouths before we open our hearts. We toss words around like spare change in a vending machine, never really considering their true value. Maybe right now, as you listen to this story, you're also texting someone, scrolling through notifications, half distracted. But what if tomorrow you lost your voice? What if you couldn't speak at all? How much would you give for just one chance to say, "I'm sorry" or "I love you"? Today, I want to share with you the story of a man who lost his voice and found the power of silence. This story is inspired by real events, though names and details have been changed to protect privacy. It's not about a miracle cure. It's about how a single misfortune can become an invitation to the most important meeting of all, the meeting with yourself. Alexander Volkov, Alex for short, was a man whose voice was more than just a tool. It was his capital, his calling card, his ticket to a world where likes and dollars turned into decibels. He was the host of the most popular morning radio show on the East Coast. His broadcasts were full of wordplay, sharp wit, and lightning-fast improvisation. He spoke so quickly, his guests rarely finished a thought. He could interrupt gracefully, listeners never got annoyed, because his jokes always smoothed things over. 5 million listeners every morning. But how many people did he actually listen to each day? Sometimes, not a single one. His life was scheduled down to the minute. Live on air at 6 a.m., coffee on the run, selfies with celebrities, autograph sessions, late dinners alone. He was the king of voices, as the tabloids said. But the echo of his own words drowned out the voices that mattered most. His ex-wife once told him, "You only hear yourself." Back then, he didn't pay attention. Everything changed in a single night. A highway outside the city, music blasting, headlights flashing. A few seconds of darkness, screeching brakes, a heavy crash. When he woke up, he realized his mouth was open, but no sound came out. The words were there, inside, but the road out was gone like a bridge washed away by a flood. The doctors said, torn vocal cords, swelling in the throat, a high risk of permanent loss of speech. The chances of getting his voice back? Less than 20%. He woke up alive, but unable to speak. He tried texting, but even his closest friends didn't always reply. His radio show quickly lost a third of its audience. Memes mocked the mute host, but Alex didn't react. He was learning to breathe without pain, to swallow without fear. The station manager wrote, "We have to move on. We're hiring a new host. You'll stay on the contract and get royalties." He couldn't answer with his voice and didn't want to answer by text. Months passed in silence. Alex's home was spotless, almost like a museum, but so quiet. He replayed old broadcasts, heard his old self. His face twisted in pain. He couldn't bear the sound, so he shut the laptop. He started to notice just how many words he'd spoken and how little real listening he'd done. One day, during another rehab session, he met a teenager named Nick. Nick had lost his hearing to meningitis, but dreamed of becoming a composer. He wrote music by feeling the vibrations in the floor and watching the shapes on an oscilloscope. His teacher said, "He hears with his eyes." That phrase echoed in Alex's mind. They sat together at speech therapy. Nick wrote questions on a whiteboard. Alex answered with a nod or a short note. Their conversations were brief, but every look lasted longer than any podcast. For the first time in ages, Alex felt truly listened to and realized he was learning to listen, too. At some point, Alex understood he could still help others, even if he couldn't speak. He started a charity called Voice of the Heart. Its mission, to support people who had lost their voices or hearing, to teach alternative ways to communicate, to create spaces where stories could be shared without sound. He sold his rare vinyl collection, filmed a crowdfunding video where he appeared on camera for the first time since the accident. He didn't say a word. The text appeared as subtitles, set to a slow piano piece composed by Nick. The video got 2 million views in a day. Silence had become louder than any broadcast. A year passed. Across different cities, silence clubs opened up, where people would put on noise-canceling headphones for 50 minutes, then listen to someone's story through subtitles and light effects. In one club, Nick played the piano while a scrolling line behind him shared his thoughts. "I can't hear your applause, but I feel your hearts beating." After the final note, the room was completely still. People left without saying a word, but with the sense that they'd heard something truly important. One day, the radio station where Alex once worked invited him back, but in a new format. An evening slot called Silent Hour with no ads, sign language interpretation, and subtitles. The first show began with silence. Then a computer voice said, "Good evening. Tonight we listen." The guest was a man who had stuttered so badly he hadn't spoken in public for 20 years. He spoke slowly. Alex didn't interrupt, just typed clarifying questions that appeared on screen. Listeners wrote in the chat, "Why am I crying when no one is even speaking loudly?" The show set a new record for average watch time. But not everyone was happy. Some media accused him of using silence for publicity. One tabloid ran a headline, "Mute Clown Exploits the Disabled for Likes." Alex hesitated. After surgery, he could speak again, though his voice was rough. His team advised him not to respond. Nick wrote him a note. "If they're shouting, they're afraid. We're listening." On the next show, Alex spoke out loud for the first time in 2 years. His raspy voice filled the studio. "You say I'm profiting from pain? Fine. Let's count." Live on air, he opened his banking app, transferred a year's worth of royalties to the charity, and showed the receipt on camera. Then he turned off the mic and walked off set. That night, the charity received record donations. But more importantly, thousands of people posted videos of themselves sitting in silence for 1 minute, in solidarity with those who can't speak. The hashtag 1 Minute Silence Challenge went viral. Words can build bridges or walls. But even silence, if you really listen, can become the greatest conversation of your life. Who in your life have you interrupted today? How often do you listen to your own heart, not just the endless news feed? And most importantly, if you lost your voice tomorrow, what words would you regret never saying? The price of a word is the silence you're willing to pay for it. To listen is to love. And if this story touched you, if you felt something important in it, please give this video a like. It helps others find the story and maybe change their lives too. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories that make you think. And please share in the comments what you heard during this story, what thoughts or feelings it brought up for you. Your voice matters to me. Don't put off the important words. Don't be afraid of silence. Sometimes the most valuable things aren't what we say, but what we're willing to hear.